left. Running complete. Ready to go.
Helo was headed back. Rogue agent neutralized. Serious trauma detected. Agent killed. Agent out of action.
Incredibly gifted. You can't beat me with a baseball bat. I'm from a place where you better be different. These niggas aiming at your baseball hat. Put extra holes.
What's up, agents? I'm Hyena Or Die Trying, bringing you another PvP build video. Now, this build video is going to be focused on beginner players, people that are having trouble making those builds to actually take down other players when it comes to the DZ and conflict. Now, I happen to come across something pretty simple that everybody can make. Gives you a lot of survivability, on top of being able to actually take the damage and dish out the damage as well. So that's what we're going to be going over today. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at XX at PSN. It's going to be all together. You can also find me at Bang Dead Gaming on YouTube, all together. And also, we have a Discord. It's run by my man Agent Blue 502. Let's Get Money Clicks LLC. All you got to do is send me a PSN message, or you can send him a PSN message, and we'll get you an invite to the Discord, and we'll help you. We help new raiders, people that haven't done the raid, people that are experienced. You know, we're just trying to grow the Discord. Definitely hit us up for that if you're interested. So first off, we're gonna go ahead in here, and I'm gonna show off the specialization that I'm using. So for this build, I am using Gunner. And in Gunner, I'm using this for the 15% damage, of course, weapon damage to assault rifle, shotgun, SMG right now. I just switched that over from LMG a little bit ago. And then we're also using Incessant, and then we're using Coupler. Incessant, killing enemies grants 10% armor. And then you have the every third reload is 50% faster with Coupler. And then the last is going to be the supply line, generate 10% of total ammo capacity every 60 seconds. Party members recover 5%. Alright. And barrage comes in handy sometimes too. That's the rate of fire increase on a kill for 5 seconds. Now we're going to go ahead into the build. Now the build is more around the lines gear sets over bread sets. So that's something that's going to make this very easy. If you can farm any greens, you can definitely find everything you need for this build right here. Now, going into it, I have 446k armor, and then I have 86.4k health. The gadgets I'm using is the Defender drone. That's one of my favorites. And then we have the Booster Hive, so that you can maneuver around those shotguns. Anybody that's trying to push. The gun of choice that I'm using right now is the Rail Splitter. I know a lot of people don't have this gun. If you don't have it, it doesn't really hurt the build. You can definitely use the Carbine 7. The Carbine 7 is like right in the middle of all the guns when it comes to AR, or I'd say it's for rounds per minute basically. Rounds per minute is right in the middle, and the damage isn't bad. Actually, I can show you here. My damage here is 22.6, and then the custom P416. This one chunks people, so it depends on what type of time of kill you want. The Rail Splitter just melts, so it's great if you don't miss your shots. If you miss your shots, you're probably gonna end up dead. Me, I tend to not miss often, but even if I do miss, that's why we have the Coupler. You know, every 3 reloads, you get that 50% faster. But if you're new to the build, I would definitely just go with the P416. Now, when it comes down to these, also, I wanted to talk about the measured buff. Now, if you look at the original compared to the perfectly measured, we have the top half of the magazine has 20% rate of fire and negative 10% weapon damage. The bottom half of the magazine has negative 15% rate of fire and 30% total weapon damage. Now, when you come to the original, you have top half of the magazine has 20% rate of fire and negative 15% weapon damage. The bottom half of the magazine has negative 20% rate of fire and 30% total weapon damage. Now, when it comes to this, you really have to look at that, because the P4 already shoots slow, especially over the Carbine 7. That's when I was talking about the difference between chunking an enemy when you hit them and then actually speed bursting them down. The Rail Splitter can do it because it already has a high round per minute. On top of that, I put Allegra on there, so with measured, I'm hitting in the thousands for the rounds per minute. When it comes to the P416, it's a little under that. Well, actually a lot. It's probably hitting around like 900 maybe. And then once you get to that bottom half of the clip, it's really going to slow down. So at that point, you really have to be hitting your shots. To tell you the truth, I've been looking for another P416 that has extra instead, because I'd rather have more bullets to actually kill that target if I'm going to miss. So that gives me an extra 5 bullets that I could use on each side, which would give me the 60. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, yeah, I'm using a Rail Splitter. It has Allegra and Wascally. I don't really need Wascally, but I mean, it's useful if you find yourself around someone using foam or anything that can ensnare you. Then I'm using the Ruthless or the Merciless. They're the exact same gun, just for the brutality talent. So while holstered, landing a shot has a 5% chance to deal plus 100% damage as explosive damage. And then my last item is going to be the sawed-off shotgun with premeditated, jazz hands, and protected reload. Now, I see a lot of people, they'll play with a pistol. I feel that everybody should at least have a sawed-off shotgun on their body at all times when it comes to the DZ, especially if you're running under 4 yellows. It's definitely worth having, because if you miss a clip and this guy is almost dead, at any time you can switch to this shotgun, especially for shotgun builds. When they see that you're out of ammo, they're not looking for you to switch to that shotgun, and that could save your life. It saved my life multiple times. So definitely don't be afraid to switch to that sidearm and just gun them down. Now, with this build, I don't have 100% hazard protection. I was working around with some things here. I'm missing hardened on my chest piece, and I have it on my backpack right now. So I do want to switch these things up. I'd rather have hardened on my chest piece and then insulated on my backpack. And that will fix this build to where I could get 100% hazard protection with the mask. Now, the way I'm doing this, I'm just going to go over these 2 items first. So with the gear sets that I'm using 2-piece Negotiator Dilemma, and then I'm using the True Patriot for the 10% total armor. Now I'm getting 30% blast resistance. My goal was to get this to 50% with the blue mods that I can put into my set. So right now I'm using this, and that has the 41% hazard protection, and I rolled 11% critical hit chance just for the Rail Splitter, because it ramps up so fast, you know, those crits will come easily. Then I have the Fenris Group AB chest piece. I have that for the 10% assault rifle damage. It has 6.5% weapon damage, 15,000 armor, 25% total armor. I rolled on there with Bloodsucker, and then it has a defensive slot. So I'm using these defensive slots basically to get my armor, but later I plan on switching those out so that I can get that 50% blast resistance on top of having that high armor. So my goal is to get this to at least 500k once I find the pieces that I need. Now, the way that I'm pairing this, you're probably going to look at this crazy because I'm not wearing a two-piece Gilligard. Now, the two-piece Gilligard gives you the 20% extra hazard protection, but I don't need that because I'm wearing it on the gloves. So I have 25% hazard protection here with 13% assault rifle damage, with another blue mod giving me more ammo, more armor. Sorry. So now when it comes down to this, I got the 25 here and then I got the 41 here. Now with that, I believe what's that? That's 66. So then you'll get 30 with the insulated, which is going to give you the 96. So literally, if I find a mask that just has 4 more points, I'll be at 100%. And I've been farming for this mask for a long time, so it took me a while to get this video out. But I just can't find that mask, so I decided to just go ahead and put the video out now. The holster I'm using is the True Patriot. I got 41,000 health on there, and I have 8% critical hit chance with 2 mods increasing my assault rifle damage, which is really great. It's got me hitting at 19. When I go into the DZ, I'm hitting at 18. Always remember that you're going to lose 1,000 on your gun when you go in there. Sometimes the shotguns lose a lot more. It's all hit and miss. You just got to go in there, test them, see what's going to happen. The backpack I'm using is the Gilligard. I'm using that for the 5% total armor. And then I have 9.5% total armor here, 4.5% critical hit chance, 10% weapon damage rolled on there with Spark and Harden. Then I have a utility taking 6% reload speed off, and then another defensive mod. And then we're going to go on to the True Patriot knee pads, and I have the 13% total armor with 1 offensive mod and then more armor. Now the thing I really want to talk about when it comes to the True Patriot set, this set is very strong, especially when paired with a great total armor roll, because now you have to look at it like this. I get 10% anyway, so basically I'm getting 23% total armor from just wearing a 2-piece and having that on the knee pads. And quite frankly, you can have the 2-piece anywhere. If I wanted to, I could put a Gilligard here, and then I could get even more armor if I took that red out. But then again, I'd have to find an inventory Gilligard backpack just to put that red back on there. So you're definitely not losing anything. There's ways around making this work, even without that. So if I wanted to, I could definitely still have Spark active if I wanted. Now the things about this build that you're going to have to understand is you can tank. The thing right now, the Seeker Mines, the really good Seeker Mine builds, those one-shotters, if you're not at 50%, you can maybe take a hit. I'm going to say right now, I can't take too many hits because of the lack of hazard protection. They can literally down me just from the bleed at that 66%. I'm definitely trying to get it to 100, and it'll make the survivability way better, especially once I get the 50% blast resistance on there. But you saw in the beginning I did alright until that one Seeker Mine hit me. But anybody that was using like the mortar, you saw me fighting that guy with the mortar as well. He didn't have much of a chance when it came down to it, because I still had the Bloodsucker going with that. So he was knocking my armor down, but I knew I was going to win that fight when it came down to the shooting phase of it. Skill builds usually don't have a lot of weapon damage, and that's something you can take advantage of. Same thing with the last PvP build though. You definitely want to keep your distance away from shotguns. It doesn't matter what a shotgun has. Premeditated is pretty much... premeditated doesn't matter, is what I'm going to tell you guys. A shotgun can kill you without premeditated. I hear so many people crying about premeditated. Premeditated is not that bad. You can fight a premeditated shotgun if you know how to fight it. All you have to do is get distance. Now, I've seen a lot of people lately... I'm gonna tell you, like, this is the strongest shotgun you could ever get. If you get a shotgun with premeditated, with optimized, and then you get protected reload or whatever you want for that last passive talent, you will hit hard, because that optimized range increases so that when people get from a distance from you, you can actually still hit them with almost about max damage. Now another one that you can use is accurate. Accurate also helps all of the pellets hit into one area so that you don't have to worry about that. The thing is though, if you're going to use accurate, you have to make sure that you're shooting ahead of the target, because those bullets will miss if you're off by even an inch. They will miss, so you have to shoot ahead of your targets. Now all around, I like this build. It's got a lot of survivability. I use it in conflict all the time, especially when I have a lot of skill builds. It still works out perfect. So if you guys would like to try this, it's very simple to make, because you can do whatever you want with these pieces. The only thing you're changing out is your chest and your backpack, and you can do whatever you want with those. If you wanted to, you could do 2 Douglas and Harding for more critical hit chance. If you wanted to, you could drop the health on here, try to find a True Patriot with like 10% critical hit chance or 10% critical hit damage, and then roll like a 16% critical hit chance or a 16% critical hit damage. That'll increase the damage there, and then you can put the health on your backpack. There's multiple ways that you can do this stuff, and this build will still come out on top. Now this is literally the simplest thing that you can do for survivability and doing whatever you need to do in the DZ. Now I'm gonna go over one more thing too before we close up here. I'm gonna go to the firing range, and I'm gonna show you guys how this thing actually works with the rail splitter. Now you're shooting fast. Now, oh, this is perfect because this target is right where I need it to be. So when it comes to headshots, this build has no damage to elite. Now, if you look at it, I'm hitting 19, so you still got to take that down a little bit. But I can literally, if I'm shooting a player in the face, I'm going to hit 1,000,000 damage on them with a full clip. Now, if I can hit 1,000,000 damage to an NPC that's named, I have no problem. The thing that you guys want to look for when you're making your builds is you want to be hitting around the 500k range in the body from a distance. If you get over 500k, that's perfect. Most people are running around 500k, so I mean, if you miss a couple bullets, you know you got to reload. If you're shooting under that, you have to reload too many times. You're always going to die. So you want to make sure that your bullets are hitting. You want to make sure that your bullets are hitting with a full clip over 500k, and your build should be fine. Now, I was talking about the carbine versus the P416. Now, the P416 in the body, well, this one's a little closer, so I'm gonna go for the head. Okay, I missed a lot there. Try this again. We're gonna go for the body. Alright, so it's hitting 500. You know you're going to have to switch out a little bit, or you're going to at least have to reload. Now, I missed a couple shots and it still hit 500. So, if you were to hit all of those shots, it might have hit 600. Now that we got a closer target, let's see if this one can hit 1,000,000. Okay, so that one hit 1,000,000 plus. So, the damage is higher for base. So, that's something you're going to have to look into as well. So, this damage is higher in base. So, if I was to go into the DZ, it'd be 21,000. Instead of the 22. And then the last one we're going to check is the P416. Now, the thing that I'm really trying to get you to look at is the drop off from the measured and how slow it gets. Now, slow also, how slow the gun shoots also has something to do with your DPS. Now, when the gun slows down, that's less damage you're doing per second. So when it comes to this one, I still had extra bullets left to continue to shoot, so that could have hit like 600, 700 maybe. I'd say like 600 because it was at 570. Try to get this a little bit closer. I'm gonna try to get this a little bit closer. There we go. And then we're going to go for the headshots. Now, this one should hit harder than all of the other ones. To tell you the truth, I should not finish shooting my entire clip into this target. Now, with 18 bullets left, I'm still hitting at 1,000,000, and this build has no damage to elite. Now you can see you can definitely push out the damage to kill just about any target. I've been hearing rumor about these shotgun builds with 600k, 700k. I have not ran into any of them yet. I know for a fact you can burn any of them with these guns that I was just speaking on. You could also use a LMG if you wanted to. You just have to change the chest piece out or the backpack out for Providence. You can also use this build for SMGs if that's one of your favorite. All you need is a Sokolov Concern. You can switch it on the backpack or the chest piece. It doesn't matter. But you can use this. This build is very versatile for however way you want to play it. You can switch the backpack out if you don't use Spark, anything like that. You can throw some skill power on here if you don't want the reds. You can do whatever you want with it. So I hope you guys liked. Definitely leave a comment if you have any suggestions to maybe make it better, or you think it's bad, or you think it could be better. Don't be afraid to hit me up. And once again, you can reach me at xxferno the plug xx PSN.
They've made our world bleed. But we don't stand alone. A brave few have sworn to protect us and save us.